Get straight to it. Women are not always drawn to the nicest guy. In fact, many times they chase the ones who seem emotionally distant. It sounds unfair, but it's real. This is the dark psychology of attraction, why women chase emotionally distant men. See, attraction isn't always about looks, money, or even how much attention that you give her. It's often psychological. When a man shows just enough interest to spark curiosity but still keeps a part of himself unavailable, it creates tension. And tension drives attraction. Women subconsciously interpret that emotional distance as confidence, mystery, and self control. But here's the truth that most men never learn. Women aren't chasing the pain of distance, they're chasing the meaning behind it. They want to understand you, earn your validation, and prove that they can reach a part of you that others can't. By the end of this video, you'll understand why this happens, how to use it without being toxic, and how to stay in control instead of being manipulated by your emotions. And if you're serious about becoming the kind of women naturally pursue, not because you play games, but because you carry yourself as a man who's rare, join my private coaching program. You'll learn to master attraction, discipline, and masculine confidence from the inside out. Click the first link in the description or the pinned comment below. Point 1. Mystery triggers the chase. When you're emotionally distant, you create what psychologists call a reward gap. It's a space between what someone wants from you and what they're actually getting. That gap activates the brain's reward system, the same mechanism that makes gambling addictive. Women don't consciously think he's distant, I like that. What happens instead is deeper. The brain releases dopamine when it senses unpredictability. So if you're sometimes warm and other times reserved, her emotions spike. She starts wondering what she did wrong or right. And that's when she begins to chase. Mystery isn't about pretending to be cold. It's about being secure enough not to overexpose yourself. Most men give away their thoughts, feelings, and intentions too quickly because they crave validation. The man who doesn't rush to explain himself, who takes his time to open up, that's the man who becomes intriguing. When you understand this, you stop trying to impress women. You let them invest in understanding you. And the moment they start investing emotionally, they start valuing you more. That's the silent advantage of emotional distance. It forces others to earn your attention. Point 2. Emotional control signals strength. A man who's calm, detached, and in control of his emotions signals strength on a primal level. When a woman senses that your mood doesn't depend on them, it communicates that you're grounded. You have your own mission, your own peace. Most men make the mistake of oversharing feelings too soon, thinking vulnerability creates connection. While honesty matters, timing is everything. Emotional distance isn't about being a robot, it's about having restraint. It's showing that your emotions don't control you. In contrast, when a man becomes too emotionally available too early, it tells a woman that his focus is on her approval instead of his purpose. That kills attraction because women want to feel pulled into your world, not become your world. Emotional restraint shows you've been through challenges, learned discipline, and built self-respect. It's not arrogance, it's balance. The man who can express emotion without losing control earns both respect and curiosity. So next time you feel the urge to overshare or seek reassurance, pause. Keep some of your emotional world to yourself. Let your actions speak. True confidence doesn't need to be announced. It's felt in your composure, your silence, and your control. Point 3. Scarcity creates value. Here's one of the harshest truths about attraction. People value what's hard to get. When you're emotionally distant, you naturally become scarce, not because you're trying to play games, but because your attention isn't free. Think about luxury brands. They don't beg for customers. They let their reputation and scarcity create demand. The same principle applies to men. When your time, emotions, and attention are given selectively, women perceive it as high value. They think if he's not chasing anyone, he must be worth chasing. But scarcity only works if it's genuine. You can't fake it. You need to have a life that's full enough with your goals, your habits, and your discipline that you don't need to pretend to be busy. You are busy. That's what makes the difference. And if you want to learn how to build that kind of life where you don't chase, you attract naturally through your discipline and lifestyle, join my private coaching program. Inside, I'll show you how to build yourself into the kind of man women respect, desire, and remember. Click the first link in the description or the pinned comment below to get started. When your attention becomes rare, your presence becomes powerful. That's when attraction flips in your favor. Point 4. Distance builds emotional tension. One of the most misunderstood parts of attraction is tension. Most men try to eliminate it because it feels uncomfortable, but the truth is, tension is what keeps interest alive. When you're slightly distant, when she doesn't fully know what you're thinking or feeling, that uncertainty keeps her mind occupied. Tension builds anticipation, and anticipation strengthens desire. The best relationships aren't built on instant comfort. They're built on a gradual connection that keeps people guessing a little bit. If you reveal too much too soon, there's no thrill left. But when you let her see pieces of who you are over time, she stays emotionally engaged. The key is moderation. Too much distance and she'll think you're unavailable. Too little and she'll lose interest. The sweet spot is balance. Open enough to connect, reserve enough to remain interesting. Every man needs to master his emotional tension if he wants to be seen as desirable instead of desperate. The men who understand this rule don't rush. They let attraction build slowly because they know what's worth having isn't earned overnight. Point 5. Independence is irresistible. At the core of emotional distance is independence. A man who can stand alone, who's not afraid of being without constant reassurance, radiates a sense of stability that women crave. Independence means you're not trying to fill a void. You've already built a life that's fulfilling. You have your mission, your direction, and your standards. You don't need a woman to complete you. You choose one who adds to you. This mindset changes everything. When you interact with women from a place of abundance instead of need, your behavior shifts naturally. You don't chase, you don't overreact, and you don't negotiate your self-respect. That's what makes you stand out in a world full of men who are desperate for attention. True independence isn't about isolation per se, it's about the freedom to walk away when something doesn't align with your standards. And nothing is more attractive than a man who values himself enough to do that. When she realizes you're happy either way, whether she stays or goes, that's when she starts chasing. So let's recap. Women chase emotionally distant men not because they like pain or confusion, but because that distance signals value, control, and depth. It's the psychology of wanting what feels earned, not handed over. But remember, emotional distance isn't about coldness or some type of manipulation. It's about composure, independence, and standards. The kind of man who commands respect without begging for it. And if you're ready to build yourself into that kind of man, the man who attracts through discipline, mystery, and quiet confidence, then it's time to join my private coaching program. Inside, I'll show you exactly how to level up your mindset, your lifestyle, and your attraction, step by step. Click the first link in the description or the pinned comment below. At the end of the day, attraction isn't about chasing anyone. It's about becoming the man who others feel lucky to chase.